Okay, get in here real quick. This is about part 3 and 4 of if your girlfriend works in the prison system, she's probably cheating. Now, I said 3 and 4 because I don't really like how y'all responded to part 3. Maybe it's the way I did it or something, or the algorithm. But listen, I'm going to give more context to this part 3 leading into part 4. Now, the last thing we picked off on was I'm in prison. I got a 10-year sentence with a 5-year stipulation. That means you do at least 5 years before you go to parole and you be let out. By this time, this is my second prison bid. I am what you would call a predicate felon, career criminal, things of that nature. Now, just to catch you up on that, I've also been through numerous therapeutic communities, which are TC program, NAAA. I've essentially been getting jammed up since I was a young boy. You know what I'm saying? So I say all of that to say, I know my way around administration. I know how to work a room. I learned from sociologists, psychologists, behavioral therapists, things of that nature. And I've met some of the most interesting people in the world with these skills that I've developed in these places. Some of the curriculums work if you apply them to your life, but that's another story. Today, we talking about how we corrupted and manipulated one of their best and brightest, and then she turned around and ultimately might have got me in the case. So anyway, this is my counselor. She makes it clear that she's ready to be locked and loaded. She's a 26-year-old young girl. She's straight out of college. She's had her bachelor's. She's going for her master's, I believe. I'm not a college graduate, so I follow roughly her path just for conversational purposes as she was going through it. So this lady is literally writing dissertations, thesis based off of things we're talking about, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, somewhere along the line when this lady becomes a doctor, by now she probably has her doctorate, you guys will be taking advice from her. And just know that it was a felon that helped her develop these concepts. You know what I mean? You're welcome. But anyway, we got her. She's locked and loaded. She's flirting. But the particular thing you got to know about prisons is that we're essentially predators when we're in there. Not just stalking down prey, but our senses are heightened at a level that's almost you know, some type of advanced civilization. I don't know what to call it, but it's heightened. You put that with working out and, you know, you don't have a lot of stresses, you can be firing off, you know, you have senses of smell and sight like animals do. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. But anyway, so weeks turn into months, months go past like this. We're meeting, and now I'm not gonna say the particular facility we were at, but one thing I will say about a lot of the old prisons, they have a lot of cut spots, a lot of blind spots that if you want to take advantage of, there's a way to do it. Now, most of that comes from trust. See, that's why it's good to be a person that can speak to people. Some people are gang members. Some people come up to people and knock them out. I like to reason. Yeah, my superpower is reasoning at a higher level than the average man can. So that puts me at an advantage a lot of times in certain situations where people don't understand you, or they're intrigued by you and they're trying to learn more about your culture, about a situation. They need things explained to them in ways, you know, they need to maneuver around certain situations. They might come employ your train of thought. So anyway, these weeks pass by, and it's certain positions inside this TC program that are up for election now. It's so funny because they simulate in these therapeutic communities, inpatients, some of you have known them from the old days. they try to simulate how actual life is supposed to go and how you're supposed to handle life on life's terms and things of that nature. They try to essentially role play it like a psyop. But indirectly, what they end up showing you as well is, capitalism, nepotism, all the isms, communism, socialisms. It's like crazy. Yeah, they show you how an election is rigged and everything. Yeah. So essentially, I was installed, long story short, into positions of power within this program. Now, see, one thing you're going to have to understand about prison in these programs, they give a large amount of power and access to administration through these programs that regular prisoners don't get. So see, I get to get the ear of administration. Yeah. And when you're in prison amongst a bunch of people who are looked at as a number, you are looked at as a number. I'm looked at as a person. Through this TC program, I'm looked at as a person of reason. However low on the totem pole you want to say that is, that can potentially form sway in movements, classifications, considerations. I can get you moved off your yard and get you moved over here into a room with me. I can switch my room, put who I want in my room. Now, you might think that this is a small thing, or control the food movements. I can control during lockdowns who gets let out and for what purposes, if it's TC purposes. You see, you're starting to get the message. I don't need to spell out how being able to access movement within a facility where movement is restricted, and then have a third party be your proxy, i.e. the girl. You don't know what it means to be in a place that has restricted movement, and because of your status in a program, and you having an actual counselor who has the ear to the administration, you don't see how that's power? I don't know what to tell you. Okay. I won't dwell too much on that because we don't know how federal that can get. But this is what I'll say. I didn't abuse it. I had a good time here. You know what I'm saying? I was hitting her off on the regular. I would sneak her up to, she would get my door popped. As bad as you might think this is, she would get my door popped when the lockdown. In prisons, you would have lockdowns. If you don't go to school, or if you're not coming out, if you're not on a TC tier, like I was, a TC program setting, or if you don't have a job in the prison, you're gonna be locked in your room probably about 22 hours a day. You only come out for mess movements for about 30 minutes on a max tier. Probably worse on a super max. Super max have their own rules, but medium to max, yeah, you're probably locked in 22 hours a day. And to get access to movement, you either have to have a job, manual labor, typically, or you're in the TC program and you're part of the hierarchy of the TC program, and you need to come out for official purposes because you essentially run the tier. Now, let's say you have a cousin and you come to me and you say, hey, my cousin is locked down here 22 hours a day. Can you help me out? Sir Robert, can you come help me out? I got my man, he just came in down prison, he broke. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna bring him over here. I'm gonna give him a job. He'll make first commissary. I'll get him in the emergency commissary. You getting the picture? I get a line to his girl so he can get a cash app. You getting the picture? Maybe some other things. So anyway, I get her to start moving and shaking for me. She puts me in administration. And before I know it, I'm making moves there. I'm making a couple of dollars and I'm getting things done. All I'm going to say is this. The ancestors would be sure enough proud, boy. Because on Martin Luther King Day, you'll never know how it feels. The latest hammer on the face of a young Kaylee in this facility risking it all for a little rod, man. God bless her. You know what I mean?